This is a review of Survivor Season 48, Episode 8, A Rift Between All of Us. With me, as always, Richie Becerra. No rifts between us. We're back at it, here to review another episode. How you feeling this week, dude? Episode 8, man. We're flying through.
Yeah, flying, bro.
It's crazy.
Survivor's flying by. April's flying by. Come on.
Yeah, summer's going to be here in no time. We're at a really good spot here. We're down to 10 castaways at the start of this episode. At the end, we're down to 9. We have a full review of this episode. We are going to do a Survivor press conference. Once we're done with the review, what question will we ask Jeff or a castaway? We're going to talk about whose stock is up, whose stock is down. We're also going to rename the episode because A Rift Between All of Us is too long. I didn't even remember when that was said. But we're going to come up with something better. In the hands of the fans, Survivor 50, some voting happened this week. We'll talk about it. That wasn't too crazy. It sounds like they are about to start filming 49 right now. So it is kind of wild that they're doing this polling when they're probably 10 weeks away from actually filming 50, which is crazy. But we won't see it until next January or February, or something like that. They'll start getting to film that. But to get to the episode, this one seemed to be a lot about duos, and that's really because of the first twist we get in this episode is the tree mail. We do get a tree mail moment here where they mix in old era Survivor with new era Survivor, and what they do is they say, hey, look, there's an immunity challenge coming up, and you all must pick your pairs before you get to the challenge. How excited were you when you heard this? Because I was like, let's go. Like, this is...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This is great tree mail.
And I think even before that, I feel like the New Era Survivors kind of lost it of saying, like, having them come back like, oh, we got tree mail. They used to make it such a big point every episode. They'd be all excited. Whoever got to go was super excited to bring the tree mail back. So I did kind of like that we get to see them actually bring the tree mail back. And then, of course, I was super excited to see how they were going to go about. Because, they talked to Joe gets a big confessional here, but it's a big thing on how you're going to do the duos. And you could throw your game away.
100%, and I want to get into that, but I missed a huge question that starts off this scene. Is what's the largest animal you could take in a fight? Richie, I was like, man, I know Richie's got an answer, and it's probably you're gonna overshoot it, is my guess. What do you got here?
I don't think so. No,
I'm thinking like a large deer myself, like a Bambi.
Wow,
maybe not large. But...
Hey, okay.
hey, see what I did there? See what I did there? What's your animal, you think? What comes to
I was
mind?
thinking maybe like a cow, something that's not like a carnivore, it's not very hostile, but it's a big animal.
It's a woman.
Wouldn't think it'd be that.
Yeah. You're like, I could take a woman. That's all day, dude. No, yeah, I guess. It's a funny prompt. I like that. That's what that's what tree mail interrupted. I thought that was pretty good. But yeah, you're right. The tree mail comes and it's time to pick your duos. And Joe, you're right. Joe had a big moment here, mostly because Chrissy kind of plays, the general music teacher that's like, how about we all just count and we can divide it up that way, which is a good way to not stir things up. But Joe lays down a hammer that's like, hey, look, tonight you're going home. Someone's going home. And you now have the power to choose. And I'm like, that's great because one, that's so true. But then knowing that he's also like, now I'm watching you. Is epic. And from this episode, I feel like there aren't too many outspoken people, and Joe is clearly one of them. Were you surprised that Shaheen comes right off the bat and picks Camilla?
No, not really, honestly, because I didn't think he was going to pick somebody from Purple, and I didn't think he wanted to pick somebody else in their Strong Guy Alliance. So I think that kind of made sense in my eyes, honestly.
Yeah, and Shaheen was talking about how there's no time to paint a tribe flag. We got to play the game. It starts fast. I do think Shaheen, just from what we know about him in Survivor, he is clearly the one who would like to speak first and loudest, and come up with a funny quip or sing a Survivor song in the background, or add ad lib. So like a part of me thinks this is probably just his personality to like, I want to be the first one to talk because I got something to say. But also for him to pick Camilla definitely is a head scratcher, knowing their strong 5, strong 6, or whatever. But he ends up picking Camilla. Mitch and Star are together, Chrissy and Kyle, Eva and Joe, and then Mary and David are all, pretty decent pairs otherwise. I mean, Mitch and Star kind of do feel like maybe last picky. I do like that Kyle and
They
Chrissy
were
are
kind of the
together.
last pick.
Yeah.
They were
And they
just
didn't
the two
really,
left.
yeah, they didn't really like lean into that too much. I mean, Mitch did say a little bit after this that it felt like the first day of school and you're at the lunch table and you don't know whether to sit with your friends from last year or do you pick new friends. And I'm like, that's probably a pretty good indicator of what this felt like. And then we get to the immunity challenge, and right here at the top, Jeff, I mean, there's a reason they're showing us this, and they didn't show anyone else's answers, but they ask Shaheen, like, hey, why did you pick Camilla? And I think he gives a pretty political answer. I don't know. Like, I think a lot of people are suspect of Shaheen. They have been the past couple episodes. He seems to talk his way out of it and, like, justify it. And then the other twist here is 3 stages, and if you're out in the first stage, you have to go on a journey to potentially lose your vote. I like that. Second stage, stairs, crossing a bridge. And the final stage, we get the pole challenge. I mean, if you're standing there, I would be so bummed that, like, I mean, it's new era, you got to earn it all, but you have to earn the iconic pole challenge. Like, that would be
Yeah, I think
oh.
we talked about this last year, 2 seasons ago too. That's like my first thought was that like this is like one of the most iconic Survivor challenges. I think everyone should get to play it.
Yeah, that's because even like so. I mean, we get to the challenge, and they're diving through the sand, they're digging up puzzle pieces. It's pretty like obvious who was going. Everyone who was supposed to win does win. Like Star and Mitch go out pretty early, even though they seem to have a lead. And then who else goes down after that? The
Shaheen and Camilla.
Shaheen and Camilla go out. So, yeah, those are the 4 that will potentially lose their vote. Kyle can seemingly only carry Chrissy as far as possible. They fight when they fell through that rope, man. That was a hard fall, and it seemed like, oh, this is getting close.
I thought
Otherwise,
one of the boards snapped with how quick they fell too.
yeah, like I wonder how sturdy those ropes are in terms of holding it down. That seemed like much like like that's way harder than it looks. But yeah, I mean, for the final 4 being Mary and David and Eva and Joe, this makes sense. But like even seeing Eva be like, I need a break. Can we like breathe real quick? And then they get to the polls, and I'm cool with the fact that there's no footholds anymore. I saw those photos of Parvati, who's like standing off to the side and standing. Someone said like she's leaning on the CBS logo too because like her foot was out. And yeah, like that always seemed like, ooh, that would hurt your feet. But this suddenly becomes like, what muscles are you tapping into, Dr. Ritchie? Like, tell us, like, because Eva says the hockey legs is what did it.
Those adductors, bro.
The what?
The adductors. Your groin.
Where is that? The groin.
Your groin.
Why,
Yeah.
like the inside of your legs?
You
Is
asked
the
me what
whole
muscles.
leg?
I told you what muscles.
So is it the inside of your legs? You think
for
that's
sure,
what
'cause
Eva's
you're
got?
squeezing in. Oh yeah, that's a big thing in hockey too. Because when you skate, you have to have good hip adduction. So.
All right, hey, dude. This is
for another
this is
day.
why this is why we bring you in, man. But yeah, I mean, as like a big athletic guy, I mean, Joe and David both go out of this challenge. Like, do you think if there's really no foothold, this doesn't benefit?
Oh yeah.
Like this,
No,
I feel
not
like
at
it's
all.
always benefited like little people or little.
Yeah.
Like this, a female has probably win this challenge more often. But Jeff does call this the most iconic Survivor challenge of all time. Do you agree with that? I mean, I was trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, probably. Because I couldn't really think of any off the top of my head.
The only one of the other ones I thought, but it's like a pre-merge one, is the team one where they're rolling the huge blocks and they got to spell something in a staircase. And,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And
I
then
mean,
obviously you have all the physical challenges, which we're not getting back ever. But
Oh yeah, the one-on-ones. Yeah, dude, they talked about
Yeah.
that on the podcast last week. They're like, "Will that ever come back?" Oh
Hmm.
yeah, and it made that article that our chat moderator Jacob found for us, which thanks for helping us produce the show a little better. Yeah, no, it's. I actually think there is a challenge. I don't know if you'd call it a challenge, but I love it when they're on a boat and they have to throw things off and get like it's a marooning challenge. But I
Yeah.
think, and that
Hmm.
was in the fan voting. We'll get to it later. I That's the best way to start Survivor in my opinion. I love that when they're on a boat and it's just go and
Hmm.
then
Oh yeah.
get to camp. But yeah, Eva seems to win, she's running away with it. There's a funny moment too where Joe and David. I think I'm gonna clip it. But Joe and David, they like both get out, and when they high five, they're like the music like sounds right to it, and it's just like whoa. There's really subtle, but I just loved that moment. Great touch by the
Hmm.
Survivor music people. Yeah, and Eva wins. They win tacos. Great reward too. Like
Seriously. Oh
all
yeah.
all around. Like Eva winning immunity, huge for her resume. Um, she seems super hyped about it. Yeah. And then so after that, we actually see Chrissy and Kyle back at camp. They're the two that are kind of I think Kyle calls it like a purgatory. And this is where we see Chrissy is really zeroing in on what she said in the previous episode, which I guess at the top of the episode she acted like she was kind of lying or playing it up, but she really is all about
Hmm.
like, look, we got to
Oh
get
yeah.
Joe, like we can't let the big guys win. And this is her message and this continues to be her message. I mean, ultimately, she is right. Like this,
Oh,
like
100%. Yeah.
she sees what is actually going on, and she's the one saying something. Like
Hmm.
I don't know if Mitch saw it or Star saw it or any of those other people
Hmm.
saw it and didn't want to say anything or ruffle feathers, but I mean, Chrissy had to kind of play her hardest, and I don't know if she wouldn't have said anything if she'd still be in the game. But this was a
Yeah.
pretty clear defining moment. But yeah, and then we get to the journey. Now, gosh, I did not like this journey. I'll say that right now.
I
I,
wasn't a fan of it either.
the balls, the red balls. Yeah,
Hmm.
someone was comparing it to like Mario Party or something like that, where you're like counting
Yeah.
ahead a bit. It just felt like I don't know. It just wasn't very exciting, and I guess it was sort of a game of math. But as a viewer, I don't know that it translated well enough.
Hmm.
Um, and to lose a vote, and I don't know, that didn't end up paying off super hard. Is there anything else you thought about this journey? Like,
No, I mean, that's not one that if there's four people, it's something's got to happen to three of them because
hmm,
it's too easy for two people to just run that whole game, kind of like Mitch or yeah, with Mitch and Camilla, kind of how they did it. So,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, wasn't super strong on it. Then, of course, Star loses her vote. I mean, yeah, even if you
mhm.
had like, because they were all playing not to lose, but maybe you have a first place winner somehow, so that you are being
Mhm.
risky. Like I don't know. It
Yeah.
needed something else. There was just something not that exciting about it. And I would be really bummed if I was Star that like, dang, this is how I'm
Well, I
going.
think there should be something where you should be able to control whether or not you lose your vote. Like she had
Right.
no control over that because she's playing against three other people who are trying to get her out.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Interesting stuff. Then we go to taco time. They're kind of at the. Are they at the sanctuary? It looks like they're at the sanctuary.
No, they're
And
at
they're eating.
camp.
They're at camp, and they're slamming
Yeah.
tacos. Eva's got taco all over her face. Yeah, Joe not eaten in 15 days. You could kind of tell, even the way he was talking about how he could fight a gorilla,
Hmm.
that Joe, after 15 days, only having pastries, like there's got to be something, and I just always think of Jonathan, but yeah, there's got to be something that like a bigger dude, like bigger people will lose more calories, right? Like faster, and like they're
Hmm.
losing more of their
Yeah.
body mass. Like Joe just seems to be going a little cuckoo, and David, I believe, is also going a little cuckoo, and we're seeing that play out.
Oh,
Uh,
100%. Yeah.
like to see him like just enjoy his food was pretty good. But the big moment here was Eva finds an advantage in her chips.
Hmm.
I did see people online upset that the chips were right by her. Did you see this? People were
Well, at first I was too, but then once she read what it
exactly.
was, and it was because she won. That made more
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. yeah, because of your effort at the challenge, like here
For
you
sure.
go.
Yeah.
I like that, and I mean, there honestly could have been a moment where she passes the chips to someone and is like, "Hey, you want some chips?" and like she
Yeah.
blows it or something. That could have been
hmm
interesting. Or yeah, and I was like, or maybe the chips were set somewhere else. I don't know. But
And I wonder
pulls it
if
off.
they like looked into each person's name had a nameplate. I wonder if they looked into it because they never do that. And so I wonder if like anyone else sitting there noticed that there was nameplates, which is out of the ordinary.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it definitely was interesting, and I don't know that they addressed it on the podcast either, but I did see people online that were very confused by that. Didn't
hmm
they missed that little detail? It was like the first reply, and every tweet was like, "Oh, by the way, this was like read that first line." Yep, some people just want to hate on Eva, of course. I don't know why. It's
We
it's
know
their.
some people like that.
um, and another moment here, yeah, we see David going a little crazy. He brings up the fact that Shaheen is maybe someone he doesn't trust, and that Shaheen and Camilla linked up, and that Camilla should be the target. Does
hmm
this make sense? If you're Joe, are you like, yeah, that makes sense? Because Joe doesn't know that Chrissy is against him yet.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, somebody in your alliance of who you're supposed to be a strong fight with goes out and seeks out somebody outside the alliance to be their partner first overall out of everybody. I think that's
Yeah,
definitely a red flag for sure.
yeah. Yeah, and David just seems super passionate about it. I mean, I don't think I remember David and Mary being this strong of a duo in previous
Yeah.
episodes. Like they are two that you're like, wait, I'm not as worried
hmm
about Shaheen and Camilla. I'm more worried about David and Mary because I mean, Mary's
Yeah.
without a home, Vula's all gone, and
hmm
seemingly Mary's latched herself to David, and that's a good place for her to be. But we get
hmm
back to camp, and during the scrambling, Eva goes and says she's gonna throw up. But um, reads her little note that says, "Next episode." It seems like she's gotta
hmm
go to the other side of camp at some point in the night. That'll be interesting. That'll be fun. That wasn't even in the previews, so that might happen pretty
Yeah.
quick. And she keeps it to herself. Huge,
Yeah.
huge.
Smart by her for sure.
And I don't know that I would have suspected that she would have done that, but good on
hmm
her that she's kept it because her and Joe are super tight, and you got to have something. And she even says it like everyone knows I'm tight with Joe. Everyone knows I have an idol. This has got to be something for me, and
hmm
that's smart Survivor gameplay, and that is yeah, good on her. Joe and Kyle are talking. Joe says that he might float an air biscuit. Have you ever heard that phrase before? He says, "I'm sorry if I float an
Nope.
air." He says, "I'm sorry if I float an air biscuit to you," and he's talking about burping. But that stood out to me. I was like, that's so weird. But this is when
Yeah.
Kyle says, "Hey, Chrissy's putting your name out there," and Joe is like, "What?" He's like, "Why didn't you lead with
hmm
that?" Because they were talking about Shaheen and Shaheen and Camilla, and Kyle has to get in kind of acting mode here, of course, and act like he's not tight with Camilla. But this leads to Kyle and David going back and forth. What did you make of a pretty heated conversation before the big group conversation about like David being like, "Why are you so hesitant? What's going on?
hmm
Is he
I thought
losing
it
it?"
was stupid by Kyle, honestly. I
Oh,
mean, I picked
really?
him as my rebound winner. I think he was just playing it way too hard. Like I think at some,
He
especially at
was,
least in
yeah.
front of everyone and to David, say it once or twice. If they're not buying it, don't buy it. But if you really want to keep Camilla, go and vote somebody else out. You can go to Camilla and get the numbers with all the other people to get somebody else out.
Yeah, he like his approach was like he's like, "David, what is going on? Like what is happening?"
hmm
As if like something absolutely horrible was happening. Like you got to play it a little cooler than that. Yeah,
Like I
especially if
really
everyone's
don't
on
understand
edge.
why they like I don't understand why they didn't just vote David out. They had the
Oh yeah,
numbers if they wanted to.
100%. Yeah,
It
no,
would have been
like
easy.
there was a point earlier in the episode too where Siva all gets together and they're like, "Hey, look, there's still 5 of us here. Like we could
hmm
still do this. Like if we want to." And that was an interesting moment. Even I mean, that wouldn't take David out, but that would at least bring a whole other alliance together because the Strongman
Yeah.
alliance does seem to be pretty dominant, and no one seems to flip as of now. But yeah, then
hmm
we get this kind of big group scene because Kyle tells Joe like, "Hey, will you have my back here? And can we try to flip this over to Chrissy?" because like Camilla is not evil to us. Camilla, which I like the argument, Camilla's been voting with us, and
Hmm.
like, you know, she's not a threat, but like Chrissy's the one who has been vocal about like our alliance is bad, and that could be someone who is dangerous to us.
Yeah.
So I thought those were pretty interesting moments, and yeah, David was pretty heated. Mary clearly on David's side. It was like, so it was just left to, is Kyle going to lose his secret partner? And yeah, we get. Oh yeah, well also too is when they're all sitting on the beach. I noticed Shaheen is not on the beach because they're talking about Camilla, and I'm like, where's Shaheen at during this
Yeah.
moment? Like, is he not like, where's my alliance? Why are they all talking without me? I feel
Exactly. Yeah.
like wouldn't he be freaked out about that? But
You think
that's not
so?
shown. Yeah, that's not shown, and I wonder if that's in there somewhere. We do get to tribal, and one of my favorite things about this tribal is right away our first jury member walks in, Cedric, and he sits on this tiny ass jury bench. Did you see that? That bench was tiny, right? I
Yeah.
thought it's usually like a bleacher,
Small,
and
bro.
like, and it's
Yeah.
just like, but it seemed like it wasn't built yet or something, and it's like, I don't know. I feel like usually they sit on a long bench, and there's like gonna be room for everyone else to join, but tiny ass jury bench for Cedric. Shout out our fallen soldier. And yeah, Star has a funny moment after disappearing now for 2 episodes, I'd say. Which another thing, dude, is Star loses her vote, doesn't come back and say anything about it. They don't address that at all. Like, there's no. So what happened?
She kind of did at tribal.
Right, but like there was no moment back at camp of, oh, what happened on the
Yeah.
journey, because
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
journey's going to affect anything, and it just makes you think, man. If Cedric was still in the game and Star didn't have her vote, then Star would have gone home, because that's how the
100%.
season has gone. But
I wonder if he was thinking that the whole time.
yeah, yeah. Well, dude, that's another crazy thing. Is like, dude, Star doesn't have a vote. Star's not a part of the
Hmm.
Strongman Alliance. Like, why not
Yeah.
just say, let's get rid of Star? I don't know why just Chrissy and Camilla were the 2 names in this episode. But yeah, Chrissy speaks out, and this causes her and David to go back and forth. And then Camilla drops a bit of a bomb saying, like, well, this is after Camilla's talking about jury management, and like
Hmm.
kind of makes Jeff go, oh,
Yeah.
because Chrissy's complaining that like, you know, like we got to take out the strong men and whatnot. And David is so funny. He's standing up for every strong man who's ever lost in Survivor, because he's like, look, in every other season we've been shields. He's like, why do you want to take us down? Yada, yada, yada. And I like it. I like that he's got that
To be
feist.
fair, he makes a great point too. Like, why is it okay if the girls band together, or
Yeah.
like he said, some? Yeah. So I
No,
get
yeah,
what he's saying for sure.
he makes good points, but then also Camilla's like, wait, but then shouldn't she have a game plan of like, no, let's take out the big guys, like let's do. And everyone is
Yeah,
right
for sure.
in this situation, but yeah,
100%. Yeah.
David is being very aggressive to someone who is being voted out, and I agree with Camilla there, where it's like, ooh, some of you are not being great at jury management, and she's, I think, only talking to maybe Joe is a little bit added to it as well. But yeah, David seemed to be just the one really offended by the big guy stereotype, and I like that he's like standing up for it, because I don't know, that makes him a more interesting character, and like
Yeah.
either when he wins or when he goes out, that's going to make that interesting. Yeah, and he says to her, he's like, maybe you're just on the wrong season of Survivor, and it's like, ooh, that's a gut punch. And then, yeah, they're going to vote. Chrissy says in her voting confessional, maybe I just ruined the game for myself and opened my mouth too much. And it's like, yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Because, I mean, we didn't see them whisper to each other, but they all must have agreed on Chrissy at some point, because
Yeah.
all the votes come in. For some reason, she puts one on Shaheen. Not sure why. Maybe other people said that's what we're doing. But, yeah, 9 votes, or I guess 8 if Star doesn't have one. All to Chrissy, and Chrissy goes home. Any words for Chrissy as Chrissy heads out? Kind of was probably
No.
right. Could be the one that held the prophecy that is like, look,
Yeah.
Joe or Eva are running this game. They're gonna win. I would love it if Joe or Eva now wins this game, and it's like, oh, Chrissy, you had that. You were right. You tried warning
Yeah.
everybody. But otherwise, we didn't see too much. What do you think of Chrissy?
No, I mean, I agree. I do like that at least she stood up for herself, but
Yeah.
just wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and I don't know what that accent is. Sound like actually she said something about Eva being from Minnesota or Michigan. I don't know. But
Hmm.
yeah, Chrissy goes home. Second member of the jury will sit next to Cedric. Hopefully, the jury bench gets a little larger. Um, Not because she's large, just because we need room. More people are coming. Let's go to our Survivor press conference. Richie, if you could ask Jeff or a castaway any question immediately following this episode, what would it be?
I mean, I think the most pressing question would have to be Chrissy. Like, do you regret the comments you made during tribal council?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Should you have just shut up? Because yeah, dude,
Hmm.
I think about that. Like, if she would have just shut up, what would have happened? But here's another thing I want to throw out: is like, what if Shaheen lost his vote? Or what if Camilla lost her vote?
Hmm.
Or what if Mitch lost his vote? Would this have gone differently too? I'm curious of that. I guess that's probably a little bit for everyone, and I would like to hear that discussion. But
Yeah.
also, I want to know too that for the Siva 5 is like, did any of you feel like, oh man, maybe we should stick together and like take out a Joe
Oh,
or
yeah.
take
Good
out a
question.
Shaheen?
Hmm.
I like that because, and it is great. This like I see a lot of people dogging on this season, but we are seeing blend like original tribes are kind of not a thing
Hmm.
anymore. Like, and I love when that
Yeah.
happens because Siva could
Hmm.
have dominated with Charity and just ran this thing, but they
Yeah.
didn't.
And I think
So
something
yeah,
I like about Survivor is that you can get different things. And yeah, sometimes you get those voting blocks and no true alliances, but we almost have a true alliance
yeah.
this season so far, which I've been wanting for a couple seasons. So I'm happy with where we're at right now.
100%. And with Chrissy out, like, I mean, I do think there's some sort of winner edit happening with Mitch because they keep showing him down in the dumps and he can't figure it out. And like I'm like,
Hmm.
ooh, I like that. We're gonna get there. And but they also keep painting Shaheen as this oh he's a really good player. He's awesome. That
Yeah,
I feel like we do only have good players left. I think Star and Mitch are maybe on the bottom end of things. Um,
100%.
but I think we're about to start. I think once we hit 8 or 7, it'll be
Hmm.
stepping
Yeah,
on the
I
gas.
agree.
So let's go into stock up, stock down. Which castaway's stock is up and which castaway's stock is down after episode 8? Richie, who do you got for stock up?
Stock up is Eva for this episode.
Yep,
Wins immunity, gets an advantage, and she keeps it a secret, which is I think is
keeps a
going to be
secret.
huge for her down the
Yep,
line. Should she make it to the end with that advantage still a secret, that's game winning material right there.
100%. And has Joe? I actually think Joe is probably more of a shield to her than not. So I
Hmm.
feel like she has like room to maneuver through certain votes. Even also the way she said like we should get Camilla out because they don't see it coming. And I'm like, all right, so she's also
Hmm.
trying to think like not because it has felt like let's just do the straightforward vote, but I mean we're seeing glimpses
Yeah.
of gameplay. But yeah, I got Eva as well for all those reasons. Winning immunity, eating tacos, getting advantage. Well, a clue to an advantage. We'll see. We'll see. Who do you got for stock down?
Stock down, I went with Mitch. Just continues to be kind of on the wrong side of votes. Yeah, he voted the right way, but he had no power to turn anything any way he wanted.
Yeah.
Lost probably his biggest ally in Chrissy, so stock downs for Mitch right
Um,
now.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a little bit of a chance, and I mean that like maybe Mitch could play the free agent card
Hmm.
somehow, some way or another. But yeah, I would say his stock's down. I'm actually gonna go with Shaheen. I think everyone was just too suspect of him, and everyone's like watching him. He's being talked about more than anyone, and I don't know. I worry for Shaheen, and when I
Hmm.
think this group decides to turn on each other. I kind of think Shaheen would be the first to go. So I worry about Shaheen's stock. All right. Well, let's go with renaming the episode. How would you rename this episode? Because, like I said, a rift between all of us is too long.
Yeah, I went with something nice and easy. I went with Taco Tuesday.
Hey, I like that. Taco Tuesday. I like that. Taco Tuesday's great. Mine is something that Joe said right at the beginning when he's like, He was trying to like get people to pick duos. He said,
Hmm.
"Force that dial." He's like, "I want to force that dial. I want to turn things up a
Yeah,
bit because
I
that
like
was
it.
a moment
Hmm.
where people had to publicly pick sides, and that was a really cool social kind of maneuver by him to be
Definitely.
strong and I will say we're forcing that dial on the season. I think after this we step on the gas. All right, so who goes home next week? Well, you're both wrong this week.
Yeah,
I think you've got two up on me. I got none.
yeah.
Hoping to make some ground this week. Who do you got? I'll let you pick first.
Uh, I'm gonna go with Mary.
Oh, okay. So I have Mary. I have Mary here, but
Hmm.
I like Mary.
Yeah.
Mary's a good choice. You think she catches a stray or what?
Hmm. I think it's gonna be part of they think David and her are just too close, and maybe David wins immunity, or they don't want to go for him because he still is technically in the alliance. So Mary
That
kind of
is
catches the stray.
That is exactly where my head was at. As I was like, yeah, because the previews all
Hmm.
seem like David is nutso, but David will probably
Yeah.
win immunity, and then that could be big to just take out Mary because that's
Hmm.
maybe his closest ally.
Yeah.
I, oof. Yeah, so I'd Mary first as well. I will take. Mm, I'll take Mitch. I'm gonna see. Maybe the train will keep rolling of obvious votes one more week.
Hmm.
That's how I'll bank that and justify that one. That
Yeah.
they'll do Mitch one more
Even though you
week, and
just said
then
you're seeing a winner's edit with him.
I know. But I mean, I like the Mary pick a lot. Uh, yeah, I don't see it going anywhere else. All right, good picks, Mitch and Mary, two options. Maybe they're both the two options at tribal, and we see an M written on
Oh,
someone's
that'd be awesome.
M, and then a first line. You can't tell is that the I or is it an A. Could be good. All right, so another big voting, I guess big-ish voting came through for Survivor 50 in the hands of the fans. That overly produced video of Jeff telling you to scan the QR code. Three options here. First is the necklace, then tribe supplies, then twists. What did you put for the necklace? So there was like a phoenix with wings, and then
Hmm.
there was like teeth, and then maybe a little bird in the middle. Which one did you go with?
Hmm. I went with option A. That was the little bird. I think
Okay.
the big one is almost a little too much. I'm also reading the Hunger Games right now, and it reminded me kind of the Mockingjay. So it was kind of an
Alright.
easy pick for me.
I went with the Phoenix, just because Phoenix. Shout out. I thought that was pretty. I hope that is a
Yeah.
Phoenix, and I like the wings, all
Maybe.
big. I mean, we're probably taking a lot of Survivor players and rising them from the ashes like a Phoenix. So come on, let's go with the Phoenix. So we're disagreeing on that one. I don't
Yeah.
ultimately care. I kind of wish they didn't show us
Yeah.
the necklace though, right? Like the
I do
necklace
like when it's
reveals.
you just see it for the first time. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd be cool with them doing neither and then just surprising us.
Mm.
Okay, tribe supplies, earn or give. What do you think?
I actually like when they give it to them because
Mm,
they're not giving them a whole lot. I mean, they're giving them a pot and some like stuff to build a shelter. I do like that, and I think maybe that is maybe more old school Survivor where that stuff matters
yeah.
a little bit more.
Dude, I want to see an old school Survivor challenge where they have to build a shelter and then like a local has to come look at it and judge who's got the best shelter, dude. Those were crazy.
Yeah.
I think they did that on All Stars and like Rupert was really terrible or something like that. Like, oh man, those were great. But no, I actually did earn tribe supplies, but I like the boat idea that I said earlier. That's
Yeah.
my favorite marooning.
Oh,
It's
100%.
so
Yeah.
exciting. Chickens are flying. There's advantages being found. That's a
Hmm.
great opening. So I think they got to earn them. Hopefully that way. I don't like it. I don't. Yeah, I want everyone to have something. Which is what's great about the boat. Like if you just do you got to earn your flint in this first challenge.
Hmm.
That's not as exciting. It's like, dude, it's 29 days. Just give them their stuff.
Yeah.
All right, and then the last one is about twists. Do you want to keep them rare or frequent? What'd you say?
I did rare. I think
Yep.
just with survive it being Survivor 50, we're hopefully going to have a lot of great players. Let's see them play Survivor. Let's not see them play
Hmm.
new
I
era
like that.
Survivor.
Yeah. I like that. I agree. I went with rare as well. Same thing. I mean, I do like a couple twists. I mean, there's no doubt.
100%,
But
yeah.
for when you're just overwhelmed by twists, and I mean, I guess twist doesn't mean advantages. That might mean tribe swaps.
Yeah.
That might mean two people are going home tonight, double tribals, all that stuff. And really, like, all those are pretty good. So, yeah, I like that. We're on the same page with that one. Maybe not the others, but that's
Yeah.
okay. All right. Well, Survivor Season 48 rolls on. Richie, thanks so much for being here. Leave a comment below. If you're watching, be sure to like, subscribe, all the above. We'll be back here next week for episode 9 of Survivor. Richie, thanks again.
Thank you.